Hey there, welcome to the table. So we're going to be reviewing and playing Dungeon Allies from Joe Magic Games, designed by Mark Haney. This game is 3 to 5 players. We're going to do we're going to play a schizophrenic mode where I play all the players. We're going to do a 3-player game. Normally I do 5. You guys know me. I never shy away from that. But I actually think this game plays better at 3. And so I want to highlight the game to me at its best. Also, it's very fiddly to control all 5 by yourself. And I know I've also never shied away from that, but I want to try to keep this down to 1 video. So I'm going to cover setup and play all in 1 video. And if I start going up to the player counts here, I'm gonna be here all day. So let's get started. So we have a board here. This game is a worker placement style game, and the workers are gonna go out either in the dungeon. There's some turn order. There's some treasure claiming, training your heroes, recruiting followers, which are sort of like heroes but not as good. You can free prisoners, which is a mechanism to exchange, loot for other loot. We can go to the sorcerer to get some artifacts, and we can trade. Trading is always an option. And again, it's exchanging loot for other loot, but very specifically what you want. Whereas down here, it's the formula of the trade is all defined. Okay, so every player is going to have this. So yes, you get a full set of D&D dice for each player, up to 5 players. So there's 5 different colors. The 2 colors not seen here are yellow and blue. And the way you set up the player is very simple. We're going to take the red player here, and there's basically a symbol for every dice. So for example, that's the D4. And then we got a D6, and then we should have a D8 here, and the D10, then the D12, and then the D20. Okay, and then you have 1 extra, and that's going to be used for turn order, and it's your hundreds die. Okay, so you literally set up your player like that, and that's it. That's all you have to do to set up a player. We do have some heroes we're going to dish out, and that player will get some heroes as well. So I'm going to back up the camera a little bit. We got to do the same thing for player 2. And I'm going to pause the video so you don't have to watch me do this. And voila. It looks like that. So there's a little bit more we have to do for each player, but that's the primary setup. Then we just, every player rolls their dice. So this is a 90, a 30, and a 50. So purple player is going to go first, green's going to go second, and red's going to go third. And you put them up there in the turn order. Also, you're going to have all these green tiles. They just randomly get placed over here in the dungeon. You fill up the entire dungeon, and so because there's a lot of set collection and things like that in this game, so you want to make sure if you're just grabbing a pile from the, try not to put them all together. I know I did a little bit of shuffling before. For those of you who are OCD, you're not going to like the fact that the torches are pointing in different directions. And I'm sorry about that. Therapy is cheap. But no, I'm just kidding. I know. Alright, so you set that up like that. And there you go. Your dungeon is all ready to go. I probably should have showed you what one of these dungeon cards tiles look like. But you're going to see soon enough as soon as we start playing. Then you're going to take these tiles here, and we're going to give 2 to each player. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. The rest of these are out of the game. And then last but not least, you're going to have these tiles, which are your tavern tiles. They need to be shuffled up. You don't have to worry about it too much. And then they actually sit face up here. And then you can see the top one. Alright, so the red player, for example, got these two. So this is a hero that specializes in water magic. And then this one is an amulet. Something. So a jeweler uses magical amulets. Okay, so that's what red has. So what red has to do is they take those two heroes and they get to assign their two worst dice, which are the lowest ones. So they're going to go ahead and put the D4 on the water magic user and the D6 on the amulet user. Just like so. And that's it. So now we take the same thing, and by the way, if you've noticed, this follower is a water magic user. So you can see there's more than one. And then for green, we have this setup. And so green's going to go ahead and make the nature magic user. And then the, your classic knight type character. And I probably didn't do a good enough job of separating the dice here. And in case you're wondering, yes, you're going to possibly have 4 more people in your party. So we are going to have to move the dice around quite a bit and make room. And then the purple player has, that's also a water magic and a fire mage. So we're going to go ahead and put the water magic there and the fire mage there. And then the last thing you do, actually there's one more thing behind this, but second to last thing you do is you take these artifact cards, and these symbols don't mean anything. Just draw and put one in each spot. Like so. Alright, now the last thing you do is you have to fill the treasure here. This is gold, and then there's going to be 4 gems. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now there are other colored gems, and they could have been drawn, but the blue and the red are the most numerous, and that's just what I grabbed out of the bag. The game does not provide you with a bag. It tells you to throw it into the top of the box and then just hold it above your head and grab from there. So, buyer beware. Get your own bag or whatever you want to do there. Now we're ready to play. Okay, so what do we do? How do you win? How long does the game last? Well, the way you win is obviously you score the most points. And there's only 2 ways in this game to score points. Oh, excuse me, I have to yawn. Sorry about that. Gold. Every gold is worth a point. So it's straight up victory points there. And then the cards here are so your artifact cards here have points on them. So for example, this one here is 4 points for every monster that's susceptible to fire. And I know we haven't talked about the dungeon, but the monsters are going to have 3 levels to them. There's a yellow, a blue, and a red. And those are hit points on the left. And you got to roll your dice to be able to, get that many points. If there's a monster that's susceptible to fire, like what's shown here, then, for example, we have this fire mage here. That die will actually be counted double when you roll it, instead of, single amounts. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. So now, what's everybody going to do? What's the strategy? I usually try to come up with AIs for people. It's really hard to do because you got to be a little opportunistic in this game. But the AI I'm going to say for red is that they're going to try to create a full party of 6 characters. And the reason why that's an AI strategy is I'm not sure it's the most efficient. You do get the most actions when you do that, because every character in your party gets an action. But it also wastes a lot of actions too. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. And then the other 2 I think are just going to be opportunistic. And To be quite honest, there's really only two ways to play. You either get a lot of gold from the dungeon, or you get a lot of points from your artifacts, which requires you to kill specific monsters in the dungeon. There is one here, like this one, for example, the red player. This is 3 points for every minion you hire, and that's something the red player wants to do. So red player is gunning for that, and I'm going to say that the purple player is going to gun for this, and then the green player who has nature is actually going to gun for that one. And so we actually have some really nice artifacts for the type of heroes that were drawn. And the red player having a water magic and an amulet magic, you'll notice none of these favor water or amulets. So the strategy is really solid. Like I think a real player really would try to formulate that type of plan. So that's good. Very good. Okay, let's move on and let's start the game. So you might be wondering, where's your workers? These are your workers. The heroes themselves are your workers, and you place the dice. These are your meeples, if you will. So the D4 die, of course, is weaker than the D6. And let's talk about the actions real quick. The first action is you can go to a dungeon, and none of the actions get resolved until everybody's done placing their workers. So this is one of those deals where you take turns placing all your workers. Then once they're all placed, then we start with the number 1. You can see there's a number 1 here. Then we go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And they get done in that order. Okay, so if I wanted to go here, I would reveal the monster. And since it's in the red portion of the dungeon, which is level 3 of the dungeon, then I would have to deal with the red. And this card actually is a real good example. See how there's a 14 here on the red? So that would have 14 hit points. So if I went there with my D4 guy, the best I can do is roll a 4. I'm not going to kill that level 3 dungeon monster. So you gotta level up your heroes. Now, how do you do that? Well, you do that with the trainer here. The trainer will level up a D4 and a D6 for 1 gold, or 2 gold, or 3. And it's just first come, first serve, right? So first player takes this one, second player takes that one. So once you get your D4 and D6 upgraded, then you need crystals. And then eventually, if you get up to the higher levels, the first one here is free, but also uses crystals. Okay? Now, there's also treasure, and the treasure is either guarded or unguarded. The gold is always guarded. That's why it has the yellow around it. These ones are unguarded as long as there's only 1 crystal. So if you place a worker there, you just take the crystal. It's yours. But if it's guarded, it has to have 2 crystals to be guarded. So whether it's a crystal or the gold, guarded works the same way. What that means is it's guarded by one of these dungeon monsters. So you have to basically have 2 different actions going on at once. You have to defeat a monster here, and if you defeat that monster, then when you get to here, you also take the treasure. So if you fail to defeat the monster in the dungeon, then you also fail to take the treasure. So it's a little bit of a gambling thing. You're really risking it and placing all your actions, for the big score. The tavern here is the place where you get followers, and you can only get a follower if you have a D4 die available. Right now, a D4 die is not available because it's being used by our lowest ranked hero. So I have to rank this hero up first, so he becomes the D8. Then this becomes available. Then I have to rank this one up to basically get this situation, and now my D4 is available. Then and only then can I recruit a follower. Alright, so there's a little bit of a prerequisite you got to do before you can recruit that follower. But let me just tell you, my gaming group hates this action. It's a first come, first serve. Only 1 person gets to go here, and you have to bid for the follower, and the die will be smaller. Yeah. So you have to bid for this follower and put gold underneath your bid, because only 1 player actually gets the follower. So if you're playing a 5-player game and 4 of you are competing for it, you can't get it. And whoever goes last in turn order has the biggest advantage because they get to see what the bid is and they can just choose to outbid it and nobody else can stop them. Now, there's a bit of a runaway mechanic because once you get your first follower, you now have another action because every follower, every die is its own action. So now you have 3 actions and everybody else has 2. Well, then you actually get to go last all the time because you have one more set of actions than everybody else. So you're guaranteeing yourself you're always going to get the follower, assuming you have enough gold to outbid whoever went before you. And remember, gold is victory points, so you don't want to be bidding too much. It's a nasty mechanic, and we found that 1 or 2 players were able to get all the followers, and the rest of us got shafted. Now, there's only 8 followers in the deck, and each of us has room for 4 more followers. So just in a 3-player game, we have room for 12 more followers, but there's only 8 available. In a 5-player game, you have room for 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 followers, and there's still only 8 available. This is the same deck whether it's a 3-player game or a 5. So the number of followers you're going to get is very low, unless you're the only one or you have the monopoly or on them or whatever. So it's a tricky business going after these followers, and the players who get outbid lose their action, so they fall behind in the game even more. Not only do you bid gold and then get outbid, but those of you who bid gold and lose, you lose your gold. You don't get your gold back. So whatever gold you bid on this action is lost forever. So it's very dangerous to bid on this unless you're the very last player to go. And then on top of it, if you do get outbid, not only do you lose your gold, but you lose your action as well. And action economy is what this game is all about. We really dislike this particular action space. We wish it was designed a different way. Hopefully, as you see it get played, it'll make more sense to you. But this is the one thing, we love the concept of hiring followers at the tavern. I mean, what a great idea. But we just wish there was another way to do this. Like maybe earning fame points from the dungeon, and then you can use those fame points to hire, sort of like the way Dungeon Quest works. I think that would be fantastic. What if we had a deck of followers that was off the board, and then I can spend fame points to just get one? And so I think that would be super duper cool. Anyways, we can exchange crystals for other crystals or points. And then we have the concept of level 1, level 2, level 3. You're going to see this in a couple spots. You see it here as well, where it says level 8, 16, and then all right here. You're going to see that concept come up a few times. So the cost of these cards is going to be based on the level. So at the start of the game, we're at level 1, and the cost of the card is blue gems. But then if you want one of these cards later, you need yellow, and then after that, you need green. And in case you were wondering, the hierarchy of the crystals are here, red being the cheapest, and then white being the most elite. Okay? So what does it mean to be level 1, level 2, level 3? It's pretty simple. You see this 8, 16, and all. When 8 of these tokens are removed from the game has progressed to level 2. Now, don't confuse that with the fact that there's a level 1, level 2, and level 3 of the dungeon. Those aren't the same thing. You can take your first 8 explorations in a dungeon can all be level 3 if you want. You're going to lose, but you can try it. There's nothing in the game to stop you from going to a deeper level. It does not have to be the 8 yellow ones first. But no matter what, once 8 of them are gone, then the game progresses to the next level, and the game ends when all of these are gone. So you're at level 3 once 16 of these are gone, and then once they're all gone, the game is over. Now, you might be wondering, well, what if you fail? The tile is still lost forever. It does not stay. So if you attempt something and you fail at it, it still goes away. The game clock still ticks down. If you're playing a 5-player game, the game goes a lot quicker in some respects. It's more fiddly, like I said, so you're controlling a lot more, but you could pop off, like if everybody goes to the dungeon in one round, you got 5 of these going off in one round. It could get really crazy. Alright, so with enough of that said, let's just play. Red is first. You have no gold. You have no gems. Or maybe you do get gems. Let me check real quick. I think we might all have a red. Let me check. Nope, that's it. We gotta rock and roll. Okay, so red, in order to train your guy, you need gold. And red wants to do that. So they're gonna go, they could go here, for example, which gives them gold, but they have to defeat a monster. So what they're going to do instead is they're going to go for the red crystal. This is not guarded, so it means they're going to automatically win for going there. And nobody else can go to that space. It's a first come, first serve. Actually, red's not first. Purple's first. My apologies. Well, purple is going to do the exact same thing. So screw you, red. Alright, and then green is going to take the other red, and you're going to see why in a second, why the reds are nice to have early in the game. But red's got another trick up his sleeve. He can go here and get a red crystal. And so he also is going to go first. So let's change the turn order. And now we're back to purple. Purple could blindly go for a monster. But purple would like to have a blue crystal to get one of these. So purple's going to go here. It costs nothing, and you can choose a red or a blue. So he's going to free a prisoner. Is that really what he's going to do? I think so. It's a tough action, but there's other things, right? You know, green can go here and take this one, and then red is going to follow suit. Yeah, red will do it too. No. Is red going to do it or not? No, red's going to take his chances. Let's show you how this game works. He's going to blindly just pick this one. We don't know what's underneath. Now you might be thinking, well, this is a silly game. But there is actually a lot of mitigation. The crystals do things. So the red lets you peek at two of them, sort of like the game of memory. The blue will let you re-roll a die. Yellow will let you double one of your dice, as long as it's not a vulnerability die, which is already doubled. So meaning you can't quadruple a die. Green will let you roll an extra die. So you could take your d20 and roll it in. And then white automatically kills the monster. But it will only automatically kill the monster at the game level. So right now we're at game level 1, so it will only automatically kill a yellow. Okay, so we're done with all of our actions. So let's show you how this works. This is a very risky thing to do. I'm not even sure I recommend it, but just to show you how the game works, I wanted to reveal one right away, and red's going to live or die by how this turns out. So we'll turn this over, and you can see it's an undead, and it has a susceptibility to amulets. And I don't know if you remember, but the d6 die for red is amulets. Holy crap, did we just get lucky. That is like pure, unadulterated luck. So, normally, he would have had to roll a 4 with a d6. So you roll the die that's assigned to it. Now you might be asking yourself, well, could you assign more than one hero to it? Absolutely. He could have, red could have assigned the d4, and then you could have rolled both of them. And if you're going to go blindly after a monster in the first round, I highly recommend that that's what you do. Just take both of your guys so you can roll both dice. A 4 is not uncommon for level 1, and a d6, as you know, a 4 is, you know, it's what is it, 40% odds. It's not even 50%. So, very poor. But let's roll. And there you go. I rolled a 2, which would have been a loss. However, because this is the amulet hero, I get to double this number, so I hit 4 and I win. Or red wins. How about that? And so red gets 2 gold, which is 2 victory points, and red's already rocking and rolling. So this goes back, and red keeps the trophy, which I'm going to just put up here. I'll put it over here on the right. So red has a trophy for it. And then we go here, and red is going to take turn order. and they also get a red crystal. So we can grab that from the bag. So red's got himself quite a good start. Then green and purple are going to each grab their crystals. So there's purples, there's greens, and then the dice go back. Oh, green grabbed 2 crystals. And then purple grabbed one down here, and it's a red or a blue, and purple will choose a blue. Okay, round's over. That's a whole round in the game, folks. Bam, just like that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is the dungeon grows. So the treasure everything gets another something. So we got the and then we get 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this one is guarded. These 3 are not. And you can see there was a different color that came out. Like I said, it's all random. Red now goes first, and red has 2 gold. So red is going to place his D6 on this training spot, which costs 1 gold. Actually, he doesn't have to be in such a rush, because he knows that nobody else has any gold right now. So he doesn't have to be the first here. It's not a competition. So red's going to go ahead and grab something else. And yeah, so what he's going to do is he still doesn't have a blue crystal. So he's going to take this D6 and he's going to free a prisoner. Or D4, I mean. We're going to free a prisoner so he can grab a blue crystal. He wants a blue crystal so he can buy one of these. Alright, green is up. And green's looking at the same situation and has a blue and a red. So what green's going to do is immediately is going to spend the red. And this is the part where playing by myself ruins the game, because I can't unsee what I'm going to see. Red lets green privately look at these. So I'm just going to say green's going to look at these 2. Okay? I'm not going to actually look at them, because that's going to ruin the strategy for me. But green privately looked at these 2. And what green wants to do is they want to find one that matches this. They're going after this symbol. And I don't know how I'm going to resolve this. Well, actually, let's just look at the dang things. So here we go. So there's a bow and arrow and a 4. So take note of everything. And then there's, right, this one matches. But it doesn't match the green, but it still matches. It matches the D6. So green has some knowledge, and green needs a gold, so green will place the matching symbol right there. Alright, and that's what you do. You use the red crystal, you peek, and now you know you got yourself a match, and bam, you go after one of them. Now the bow and arrow, the green doesn't have, so that's not an advantage for green. And I went out of turn order. Actually, purple was supposed to go first. So purple, yeah, they would peek too, actually. Let's just assume that they peeked somewhere else. Let's do that. So purple's going to peek at these 2 on the left. So there's a helmet, and then look, that's a 5. That's a really tough one if you don't have the helmet. And there it is. There's the green that the other player's looking for. But now I got to somehow pretend like I don't know that. Gosh, it's going to be hard. Okay, so purple did not get a match on any of them. And so that's not good news for purple. So what purple's going to do then is purple is going to go and they know that they want the crooked staff, so they're going to claim the crooked staff because they need this fire bonus because they have a fire mage. And that's 100% something that they would do. So I apologize. I went out of turn order there, but we're back in the swing. Now it's red's turn. And so red, they went after the blue. They do have the red crystal, so they could peek at the stuff. But red is actually going to come, and they're going to take the Staff of Minions, because they know they're going to try to get followers in this game. So oh, they don't have a... They will. Never mind. we're good. And then green is next, and green is realizing everybody's doing a run, and so green is going to come in. Actually, green's not going to do it. Green knows that it's likely going to win that battle, so green is going to go after the crystals. Now we're going to go after the gold. Green's going to go after the gold. Alright. Now, I just went out of turn order again. Purple's supposed to go next. Purple, like I said, is in a pickle because they don't know. And so what they're going to do then is they're just going to grab another red crystal so they can peek again next round. So that's what they're going to do. Alright, green is up. Everybody's placed. So green goes first. They reveal their tile. They see that they need to beat a dire wolf. This die gets doubled. And I rolled a 5, which would have won outright, but that got doubled to a 10. So this is now in the trophy case for green, and the die goes back. And then because green won, it's a little out of turn order here, but we're going to grab 2 gold here. That goes to green as well for defeating that monster. And then also this monster drops a gold himself. So green now has 3 gold and a blue crystal. Alright, and then purple just takes a red crystal, comes back, and then red is going to take a blue crystal, but I'm not even going to bother getting it out of the bag. Do you know why? That's because here, red's going to spend the blue crystal to get this staff of minions, and I'm going to have to put it over here on the right, like so, and then purple did the same thing. I'm just going to put it off here to the right. Alright, we're at the end of the round. So the artifacts fill in. So now this is 4 points for every one of these. And by the way, green already has one of those. Green was going to go after this one up here. But since green already has one of these, this is the more valuable one. And then this is 4 points for every range. It's not a very deep game, folks. There's a 4 points for every symbol that a hero has in the game. You just wait for the RNG to give it to you. Okay, so I gotta spend that blue crystal though for purple. Alright, and then we go to here and we fill in the gold. And we're gonna grab 4 more crystals. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so we got some yellow ones out. Now, yellow ones are highly coveted. Why? Because you can convert a yellow to a white right here. So if you get a yellow, it's just as good as getting a white. It just costs you another action. Alright, red is still first, and red is going to place this die here because now he is in competition. Other people have gold. He's going to place that there to try to upgrade his die. Alright, purple is next. Purple is looking for fire. So purple is going to spend that red crystal they just got again and peek at 2 more. So purple's going to peek at this one. And you can see there's the blue magic. And then this one. And there's a bow and arrow. So the only one that we haven't seen is this one. And it is possible that none of these have flames. It could be like deeper level dungeon stuff. But that puts purple in a pickle. However, the first one here is a blue. And it's a 3, which isn't very bad. And purple does have a blue hero. So they will put the D4 on that one. Alright, that sort of gave them away a little bit. So then, now green is up. So green's sitting on 3 gold. Green could go here and spend 2 gold to upgrade themselves. That's a tough order to do. Just because it costs so much. But upgrading is good. You do want to upgrade your heroes. you can't play the whole game, I don't think, with a d4, d6. At least not easily. Do they want to spend 2 of their 3 gold to do that? See, that's the dilemma, that by red going first, they took the cheap spot. And so now you got to pay more if you want to be upgrading at the same time. I have a blue crystal with green. Or did I spend it and I forgot to spend it? I forgot to spend it, I think. So let me spend that blue crystal. Oh no, green hasn't bought one yet. That's what's going on. I see. My apologies. They haven't purchased one yet, so they're going to use their D4 to buy this one. That's what they're going to do. Okay, now red's up, and red has their D4. They only have 2 total gold, so they would love to do this and upgrade both of them, but they can't. So they got to go somewhere else. They're sitting on 1 red crystal. They're not as worried about the dungeon right now, so what they're going to do is they're going to try to just take the freebie stuff. So they're going to get a, you know what, they're going to go, yeah, they're going to go here and take another red crystal. Alright, so purple is up. They're already trying to do the dungeon. They're pretty confident they're going to win it, so they're going to take their D6 and they're going to put it here on this one, which has 3 crystals in the treasure. And now green is up. And yeah, green would like another red crystal. And they're tired of going last, so they're going to do this. So they're going to get a red crystal to go first. And sorry about the bouncy camera there. Okay, so now we're done. We reveal the monster. Once again, it's a blue. This guy here is the blue mage. And I rolled a 4, which would have beat it outright, but it got doubled into an 8, which is even better. So, so that gives them a gold for purple for beating the Golden Drake, and this goes back. And then I know the turn order, the thing goes in this order, but to be quite honest, this should have been a number 2, because as soon as you defeat the monster, you want to come over here and take your treasure too. Every player who played with me said the same thing. Like, you just want to do both at the same time. And so yeah, the purple player gets all 3 of those. And then of course the turn order does change, and it just, you know, it shifts up and these 2 shift down, and green gets a red crystal. Alright, and then we move on down. Red is going to get this crystal. No contest because it wasn't guarded. And then down here, they're going to spend a gold. And so what's going to happen is this D6 is going to go out of the game, and then the D8 comes in. So now that amulet mage rolls a better die. And that's what the trainer does for you. And then that makes it so the water mage can upgrade in the future. Alright, so just like that, we're at the end of another round. So more stuff comes out. Gotta grab some crystals here. Here's number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Alright, green is first this time, and as much as green wants to... Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Green was supposed to spend a blue to get this. And then a new card comes out. So what this is 1 point for every one of these cards. So, alright, green has a very clear action. Green wants to take this green die and place it right here. That yellow crystal is very powerful early game. So that was the beauty of going first. Red goes second. Red is sitting on 2 red crystals now, so red is going to take a peek. So he doesn't know. Well, he knows that one of the blue ones are gone, so red's going to look at this one, and you got a bow and arrow, and because I don't know which one, I'm just going to roll a d6. I rolled a 6, and I was going to do 2, 4, 6. So red looks at both of them and they stink. This one requires a 4 and rewards 2 gold. That's a 3 and rewards 1. And so red's going to take a chance. And since he has a d8, he's going to go after the that one. Alright, so then we're back to the purple player now, who does have 1 gold. And the purple player is going to... What are they going to do? Great question. They're going to do what I said. We're going to go here to convert a yellow into a white. You'll see how that plays out in a little bit. So now we're back to the green player, who's sitting on 3 gold. So green is going to try to train, just like the red player did. And the red player should have probably trained instead of doing what they did, but that's okay. Red didn't need it. So red's got a couple options. They can get a red crystal here, can get a red crystal there, can trade their red for a yellow here, which is another decent option. But since they think they're going to win the dungeon, the best thing for red to do is go after these 3 crystals right here, or go after this 2 gold. And I think they're going to go after the 2 gold more than the crystals at this point. You know what? They're going to go this way. 3 crystals ain't bad. I know, I'm changing my mind, but that's part of the crux of this. And now we're to purple, who has a d6. They got the same dilemma of, you know, what do I do? They are going to upgrade to a white, so that means for now, I think they're going to... Which one? They peeked at a couple of these. They peeked at the red one, actually. They know what it is. I'm not smart enough to remember these other ones anymore, like what the numbers were. Like, I was thinking, like, is there any one that I have a good chance of just blindly going after? But I think we're going to go play it safe and just take the easy red. Okay, so we're done. We start with red. They reveal the were-rat. It requires a 3, and red rolled a 1. So red failed. That's horrible. Now, if they would have had a blue or a green or a blue, they would have been able to re-roll, but they don't. And so that's the problem with going after these. And so even though they had a d8, he had a real good chance of beating this guy. And this is out of the game. Nobody gets to keep it. So not only does that fail, but this fails as well. This die doesn't do anything either, so red just wasted an entire action. Wow. That does throw you off, that's for sure. It is definitely a criticism for this game. And then green is going to pay a gold, and then this is going to get upgraded, just like what red did. Looks like so. And then purple is going to exchange this yellow, and there's only 4 white crystals in the entire game. So, and it's a tongue-tied. It's a limited supply. So once the 4 are gone, there's no way to get more. All right. Oh, I forgot. Green got a crystal as well. So that brings us back to the end. Another one of these comes out. I was fully expecting red to get that loot. And then here is a red, a blue, a yellow, and another red. Okay, so there you have it. Green goes first. Let's see, green's sitting on a yellow right now. Because green goes first, he's going to actually steal red's thunder, I think. Yeah. All right. So green is going to place the d4 here because he has a gold. Why not? And that actually blocks red because red only has one gold. All right. So next is red, and red needs gold to be able to upgrade his people or to do anything. Just needs stuff. So red's going to spend his red crystal again. He wants to look at two more. And he, of course, wouldn't know what these are. That 5 is horrible. That 4 is not good either. So, to be able to beat either of those would be really tough. And I'm just reminding myself, one's a green. So red's realizing he's not going to have a good shot at defeating those things. Okay, so red had the plan of training and doing everything quickly, and now we're stuck. So he spent his red crystal, and I need to look at this again. That was 2 gold. This is also 2 gold. They both dropped 2 gold. So red's going to put his d8 on here. So the one good news is that he has a d8. So he could possibly defeat these things, even with it needing a 4. I mean, that's a 50% for him. So he can still give it a good college try. Now we go to purple, who is sitting on just 1 gold and a white crystal. So this is the interesting trick that purple gets to do. Purple will spend a red to peek because purple doesn't know what the other ones are. And I'm trying to play it as closely, even though we know that none of these are a flame, purple didn't know that. So now they did a peek, and they're saying that this one pays 2 gold. And that one also pays 2 gold. And so what purple's going to do is they're going to put a d4 on just one of them. The one in the corner there. And you might be wondering, why a d4? Well, because the white crystal lets them auto-win. Alright, so now it goes back to green. And green is trying to upgrade one of their guys. And what they're going to do is they're going to actually upgrade their other one as well. And actually, no. Yes or no? What should it be? Nope. Green knows that red is screwed and can't go here. So green has exclusive access to here. So green's going to go and higher. Remember, this gets done before that. So this will no longer be occupied and it'll be available by the time he gets there. So that's actually the perfect move for green. Red, knowing that the pickle that red put himself in, he would love to gamble and say, hey, I'm going to 50% chance this and win something. But red could also do this to increase his odds of beating that monster so he can get the 2 gold that he needs. And that's what he's going to do. And then purple also has a perfect thing to do. Purple is going to go here and try to take these 4 crystals. And it's not try. Purple will take those 4 crystals. Alright, so we got 2 of them here, and it's supposed to be in turn order. So red will go first. And we'll grab them and we'll roll. And here you can see red rolled a 6 plus a 3 is 9. And a 4 was all that was needed. So red easily defeated that. And both dice are now gone. So red did everything he could for that turn. But he does get 2 gold for defeating that monster. And so now red is up to 3 gold. Now purple gets to see the monster, realizes it's not one that he wants. He knew that. And before he rolls, he will choose to play the white crystal, and so it auto kills. So purple doesn't have to roll and automatically gets the 2 gold for defeating that monster, and that gets added to his repertoire as well. So that's the reason why you play the d4 on that one. Okay, then we get to here, and purple won the guarded treasure as well, so purple gets all these gems. That's why the white gems are so powerful. Purple not only got the massive loot, but also got the 2 gold to boot. And then green is doing the strategy that red was going to do. Green is going to pay 1 gold, and then this is going to upgrade to a D6. So I'm going to come over here and show you that. So I'm going to slide these down. So D6 is going to go here, and then the D8 comes back, but he gained the follower, like so, and then the D4 goes on the follower. Green now has 3 actions in the next round. Alright, so round is over. We're going to put another gold out. There's now 4 gold there on the guarded spot. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Looks like so. Green is... Oh, everybody has taken a artifact so far. Some of these other artifacts, you might start taking them. Like, for example, purple took the bow and arrow here. Well, there's another bow and arrow there. So it's in purple's best interest maybe to get this one too. Because purple knows there's another bow and arrow over there. So there's some interesting options for everybody here. Okay, so green is first. They have upgraded all 3 of their guys. So to upgrade again, they would have to go here and spend a yellow crystal to upgrade to the D10. So they still have... They have 1 hero that requires this and 2 heroes that require that. Green is at a point where they do need to get some more gold because they're spending all of it to do their upgrades. So they're going to go down here to take the white crystal because they have a yellow right now. That's the beauty of going first. So now red is looking at this opportunity and they're like, okay, finally. So red is going to snag the upgrade spot. Now, purple could do the upgrade. They have 2 gold, but it's horrible to follow, so maybe purple should do something else. So purple is thinking, you know, can I take down that other bow and arrow? And the answer is yes. So purple is going to go after the bow and arrow because they know there's another bow and arrow there. They also know there's a bow and arrow here. So that's what they're shooting for. They want to be able to grab that while they can. Okay, so we're back to green. Gets to go again. Green went for the yellow. Green has 2 more actions. They went for the white. They have 2 more actions. They got a D8. And so green's going to do something that purple wasn't expecting. Green's going to go for the... No. Green is not going to do that. Green is going to spend a red crystal to look at 2 more in the next level. So there you can see that's not green nature. That's a potion, like Alchemist. And we don't have any heroes that do that. Now, since it's in the blue portion of the dungeon, this one has 10 hit points and pays out 3. And there's the flame, which purple's looking for, but purple doesn't know it's there. So, okay, so green looked at it. They just saw that they're, well, actually, that's 7 hit points. That's not bad. Had 7 hit points. So green knows that purple needs it, so green is going to go after it to screw him over and not let him get it. Green's winning this game right now, by the way. And there is no catch-up mechanic in this game, so that's one of the things you're going to see right away. Purple is guaranteeing that they win. And then we go to red. Red is going to do that. Then it's back to green again. They need to make sure they can win. So they're going to put a second guy there. Otherwise, that's going to be a wasted action. Alright, and that's it. Everybody's done. So now we go here. Flip this over. You see you need a 4. Oh my gosh, they rolled 2 ones. So they failed. And then look at this. Those are both bow and arrow, and those they haven't been purchased. So now purple may not want to go after that artifact. It is worth 4 points, but here's your 8 points and 12 points right here, and they're out of the game. So that artifact's becoming more and more worthless. And then this is going to move the game to level 2 because we now have 8 out of the game. Purple was like, "You jerk," and green goes, "Ha ha." And green only rolled a 4, so they also failed, but it still gets eliminated from the game. And that's part of the strategy, is to eliminate other people's junk. And the red crystals give you that information. Then we keep going, and red is going to upgrade to a D6. And then they're also going to hire this nature guy as a follower. So red now has a follower, and red actually got 3 points for doing that. And here, green is going to upgrade a yellow for a white. And we're back to the next round. Alright, so green goes first. Green doesn't even care what it is. We're now the level 2 of the dungeon, so the white will kill anything here, so green's just going to go after that one without even knowing what it is. They know they don't want this one, so that's why they're grabbing for a different one. Alright, and then red's next. So red did all their upgrades. They have 3 gold. They need more. So red is actually going to go here because they want to make sure they get some crystals. They have 0 crystals right now. Alright, so purple's recognizing that green and red are both going for dungeons right now. Purple's sitting on 3 gold, so this is their perfect chance to upgrade. So they're going to go and do that right now. Upgrading is never a bad option. You get better dice, and you can hopefully get a follower as well. And if you get a follower, then you get extra actions, and purple's going to fall behind. And the fact that they failed at that last roll really hurt them. They do have a lot of crystals, so they could do some dungeon stuff. In fact, I didn't even realize it, but when they went after that bow and arrow one, they really could have spent some crystals. Let me think about that. I think I got a little premature there. I think it was this one, the Dark Priest. I don't remember what they rolled though, but they could have spent a blue to re-roll a die and possibly beaten this guy. My apologies. Oh, you know what? It was, they just needed a 4, and they rolled 2 ones, didn't they? Yeah. Let's it was 2 ones, I believe. So they're gonna spend a blue to re-roll this one. Oh my gosh, that was a 3. They still failed. Well, now they could spend, and this is getting a little crazy, but they could spend a yellow to double one. So now they doubled this to a 4, and then they actually defeated it. So they get the 2 gold, and they have the second. But now they don't have a blue. So that's the part that hurts them. But they do have the second bow and arrow. So very interesting, but that is how this would play out. Alright, let's see. We did our purple upgrade. Green is next. So green knows they're going to win, and what red did is they blocked green and took this, and green's okay with that, because green's going to just go ahead and take the 4 gold. That works just as well for them. And then purple has the final die. They could spend 2 more, because they have a lot of gold now, to upgrade everything. Or they could go for a blue crystal, because they need... But see, we're at level 2 dungeon now, so you need yellow crystals to buy these. It's no longer a blue to buy. So there's no yellow crystals readily available, unless you want to trade in a red for a yellow. And they can do that. So they can go here to accomplish that. Or they can go here hoping that they can get a follower. That costs them 1 more gold. Yeah, I think we're going to do that instead. So it costs them an extra gold, but no one's gunning for this round, so this is the good time to sneak that in. Alright, then we're back to red again, and red knows it has to go defeat something, and red doesn't care what it defeats. It has enough gold. It's going to go for the easier one at the top. And then it's back to green. Now, you might be wondering, can green also do this? No, you need to defeat 2 monsters to take 2 treasures. So green can't do that. And then green got blocked a little bit here because green can't do a training either. So what can they do? They have no crystals, they have nothing. They could blindly try to kill a monster with this, but what they'll do instead is they're just going to go and take a free crystal, freeing a prisoner. And then red places the last die. They have the same dilemma. What do? Red could go for the free crystal, but there isn't one. Red could try to go first. They're actually going to just make sure they win the roll, because otherwise they lose all those crystals again. So here we go. Red's going to roll. They rolled an 8. They needed a 5, which they're definitely glad they added that extra die there. So we put a 6 and a D8, and that awards them 2 gold for winning that one. And they get all these crystals, and this was the big win for them. So they got themselves quite a nice haul. Alright, green is, well, they get to look at it first. They got a blue, and so they're going to go ahead and defeat that. And so that gives them 2. It required a 7. They only put a D4 on that. So they pay their white crystal. Green die comes back. And then their treasure is they got 1, 2, 3, 4 more gold. So they're rolling in the dough. And then purple is going to spend 3 of their gold. So they just lost 3 points, but they're going to double upgrade. So basically, this is moving down, and that's moving on. And I'm assuming they're going to eventually get a follower, so we'll move it down to make room. And then, of course, green needed some crystals, so they're going to grab a red one, because red ones are always good for peeking purposes. Done. Alright, end of round again. Another gold comes out. Here's a yellow, a blue, a yellow, and a red. Okay, green is still first. They're rolling in the dough. They have no yellow crystals. They need a yellow crystal to upgrade their top hero if they want to keep doing that. They need the red shield to score more points. So they're going to use their red crystal to peek. And I think they peeked at these 2 last time, so we're going to go here. And there it is. That's exactly what they're looking for, this one. And that's a good one too, but they never took the points for that one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it face up, because I'm having a hard time thinking about what I'm going to say to you guys and at the same time memorizing these. Plus it's really late at night and I'm jamming in this video, so forgive me. I'm just going to leave it face up because I know what it is. It doesn't matter. I also know what this one is, so we're going to leave that face up. We're just going to play. Okay, so green knows it, and their die for that happens to be the best one, the D8. So green's in great shape there. So whatever they roll here gets doubled, and they need a 9. So even if they roll 4, which is 50% of the die, it's not enough. So they know they got to boost it. But it's still a really great opportunity to get 3 gold there. And let's see, after green is red. So red will... What will red do? They need to keep their upgrade path going. So what they're going to do is they're going to go... They're noticing nobody else has yellow crystals. So they don't need to run for this. So what they're going to do instead is they're going to put a die here to upgrade their youngest one. And then green has a ton of money, but no actual... I'm sorry, green already went. Purple has a bunch of crystals and a little bit of money. So purple, wants to grab a follower. But remember, they can get outbid. So if they put a die here now, and red wants it, they can just put a gold underneath their die and outbid purple. That's the tricky part about this game, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, you get sort of shoved away. So purple has to decide what are they going to do. Do they risk it or not? And the problem with purple is there's nothing else for them to do. But they are going to spend a red crystal. And let's peek. And they're looking for some fires. They already lost one. There's a green alchemist. And there it is. They got a fire. That's what they need. That's a 4-pointer for them. So they're going to put their big guy on here. And now they got to get an 8. And that's a D8. So it's going to be really hard, but they're going to try. They do get to double this one, which is good. Otherwise, that would be harder or almost impossible. So yeah, once you get to these level 2s and level 3 monsters, the game does slow down a little bit. Okay, so purple just went. It's back to green. And green is looking at, hey, I need some help to kill that monster. But that monster's locked up. So what they're doing is they want to make sure they get the right loot. So they're going to go after this loot right here. So they're going to send their young guy there. Red is not worried about the loot game at the moment. They just want to upgrade all their guys. So they're going to put this guy here to upgrade. And so this just told purple that red can't go for the follower. And purple knows that green is trying to do a loot run, and they don't have a white crystal. So purple is confident in knowing that purple could go after a follower. However, they found a fire. This is the perfect chance for purple to get one of those followers, but they need to get this fire because that's 4 points for them. So they have no choice but to guarantee that they win that roll, because it's a 50% chance. Even with this die being doubled, it's 50% chance that they win. That's not good odds. I would never, risk anything valuable to me for 50%. When you're having fun out in a schoolyard with pebbles and rocks, sure, 50%, yeah, go for it. But 50% odds are, you don't want a surgeon that tells you he succeeds 50% of the time. So that's really the gamble, the push your luck part. But really, this was the chance for purple to get this. Because what's going to happen is red is upgrading all 3. And so red is going to be gunning for this the next round. And purple's going to miss that chance. So this is where the rubber hits the road. And purple's already missed out on a fire. And basically, yeah, they're committed. They can't go back now. Okay, so green is next. And yeah, green has to boost their roll. So they're going to add their other die here. And then red's last. And red has plenty of gold right now. So they're going to upgrade like so. Alright, so let's go ahead and get her done. Oh, hold on. Oh, no. Purple has a perfect strategy. Purple's going to go there. Yeah, they have to, folks. You got to grab these when the grabbing's good. And I figured out that they have a green crystal. That's going to be their saving grace, and we'll show you how that works. So green is first. They're going to go ahead and roll. That's a 10. And this gets doubled to a 16. So that one die alone was more than enough to defeat this. But this is another 4 points for green. That's a huge score to get that. That was worth spending 2 dice on. And then not only do they get the win of the points, but they actually get 3 more gold. And green actually has a lot of gold right now. Alright, and then just like I said, the players always like to grab their loot at the same time. So green's going to get these 3 crystals as well, which are very valuable crystals. Alright, now we go to purple. Now, I was mentioning I need an 8. This gets doubled, so it's a 50% chance. You have to decide before the roll, but they can spend a green, and what the green lets you do is you get to pick any die that's not being used and roll that. So they can pick their D20 and add that to the mix, which is way better than a D6 most days. And there it is. 12 and 4 is 16. And just so you know, if you're keeping track at home, this was enough. The 50% would have worked, but that's okay. They just got themselves 2 more gold here, which they actually really needed. But more importantly, they got the fire, which is a 4-pointer for them. Alright, so that goes back. And then red is going to do upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. And that costs 3 gold and a yellow crystal. Alright, so this is going to go, basically, we got to just make room, slide everything down, slide everything off. So the D10 goes there, the D8 goes there, and now a D6 goes here. And then purple is getting a D4, so they now have 3 actions. Alright, that's the end of the round. Another one comes out. One, 2, 3, and 4. Now you might be wondering, it is possible to draw a white crystal, but there's only 4 of them in the bag, so it's pretty rare. Alright, so green is up. Green is sitting on a mountain of cash and a yellow crystal. So green is looking at the situation. They're going to try to upgrade their guys. Because red just did their upgrade, and red doesn't have anything to do more upgrades. And purple could do their upgrades, but they don't have the yellow crystal. So what green's going to do is they're going to snag the yellow crystal spot to upgrade that and just see what the other players do. And if they do the other thing, green's going to go all in here if they can. Otherwise, they're just going to wait and see. Okay, so red what is red going to do? They got some red crystals, so let's spend one. So red's going to peek at this one. So it sees the flame thing there that purple wants. But it is also a 6, so it's a real easy one to kill. And then we're just going to say that they also peeked at that one. Because remember, red doesn't know what the other people know. So red's looking at that and sees that 6, and that's a pretty easy one to go after. It'll hurt purple, because purple got one of the reds, but not both. Purple now has 2 of the bow and arrows, so purple needs to actually go get the bow and arrow stuff. So red is... They definitely want to go after the tavern though, so here's the problem. They can't double their loot. Although a 6 is not that bad to do. You know what? I think red's still going to do it. They're going to put their D10 on this one. I think they will. Sure, they'll do their D10 on that one. So now we got purple finally gets their first turn. Purple is going to spend a red because they're desperately looking. They can't look here anymore. They don't know that they just got screwed, but they're going to go ahead and look at this one. And now they see a nature and 2 potions. They do have a potion guy. It's their D4. A D4 is not that powerful, but this one here only requires an 8. And that was the one that they just looked at. So they'll go ahead and put their D4 on that one, like so. Alright, so now it goes back to green. Green's seeing that no one's doing the upgrade, so they're going to sneak another one in. Red is noticing that no one's going after the followers. Green can't go after the followers, so red realizes that they're pretty safe there, but they're going to go and they need some crystals, and they want to get one of these yellow crystals here, so they're going to go after that group. Although that one has a green, which is pretty nice. They'll go after the yellow. And then it gets to purple again. And purple also realizing they need to grab some loot. And they really need a yellow for what they're doing and their purposes. So they could get the green, which isn't the worst thing in the world to do, but they're going to try to get the other yellow. And green doesn't care. Green is doing their triple upgrade, and then red is coming in for the follower. Purple could screw red and try to go after a follower, but they really can't because they don't have room for one. But they desperately need to boost their die roll. They don't have any crystals to modify their die rolls, so they need to win. Okay, so now we get to the end of the round. Purple's gonna roll. So I rolled a 2 and a 4, which is only a 6. However, this gets doubled, so now that becomes an 8, and that's exactly enough to defeat this. So they got the behemoth, purple did, so they get 3 gold for that. And they also get these 2 crystals. So when I put the purple dice back, you can see they're sitting on a nice little stash of gold, which is victory points in this game. And then red's the other one, and red is going to spend their green crystal to add a d20 to this. And then they rolled a 7 naturally. Look at that. And then there it is. Another flame is gone. So purple's realizing they're not going to score a lot of points off of their artifact. So 2 gold for red plus 3 crystals. So red not only prevented purple from getting what they're looking for, they also scored themselves some nice crystals there. And then green just did an upgrade. So we're going to flip over here. So they are spending 3 gold and a yellow to do that. And let's see. This goes to here. Going there, and this comes out. So it's nice because you're getting some really nice dice upgrades there, so you can get ready for that next level dungeon, which everybody needs to be ready for. And red is going to get a follower, so this is what they're looking for. This is 3 more points for red. Red is doing well. The only drawback to what red's doing there is red has 2 amulet people at the moment. Alright, so end of round. This comes out. One, 2, 3, 4. Now you might be wondering, is there any way or mechanism to refresh this? Not that I'm aware of. So you're sort of stuck with them. And as you start defeating monsters, like for example, the purple player actually has more bow and arrow monsters than they have of the flame. So this is something that is becoming attractive for them. They just haven't been able to snag it up yet. Alright, green is first. Oh, and then another question that came up is, can I intentionally try to go 5th so I can get a white crystal? And the answer is no. Players have to go in this exact order. So in order for this white crystal to ever be snagged, the other 4 players, first of all, you have to be in a 5-player game. And then secondly, the other 4 players would have had to gone after turn order. So very unlikely chance that's ever going to happen. Okay, green is first. Green does have room for a follower. Red just snagged a follower. They don't have the ability to snag another one, at least not this soon. So green's looking at an opportunity where they could probably grab one. They do need to get stronger, so they're going to try for it. They're going to go here and try to straight up grab one. I don't think anybody else is going to compete with them for it. Purple could, potentially. But purple is looking at the situation and they're realizing, you know what, this is worth 8 victory points, gang. We're going to go after that. That's 8 points just for doing that play. So do that before somebody else blocks them. Alright, and then I'm sorry, they went before red. So red could theoretically block them, but I don't think that's what they would have done. Red is trying to upgrade their peeps, and so they're going to do exactly that. They're going to upgrade. This is a D10. They're going to upgrade to a D12 for a yellow. And this is what's insane. Once they're at a D12, they upgrade to a D20 for free. So they want to get that guy upgraded as soon as possible. They don't have the green crystal to upgrade the other one, but that's okay. Alright, so then green, they're looking at a red and a blue. They could start peeking at lower level stuff. Is that really what they want to do? In fact, they don't even have this die. It would have been this one. So they only have 2 dice to play right now. Oh, you know what? Green has a nature, so this is a double roll here. They're for sure going to do that. Snag that up. And now it's purple's turn. They have 2 dice left. Yeah. They're gonna go here. Exchange a red for a yellow. I think I went out of order again. I did. Red's next. So red needs a green. They're going to use their red crystal. They're going to try to peek at some lower level stuff here. So for example, there's that one is a double for them. They really want to go after this one, but their top die is used up right now. It's here. and that's the one. This is the D10. So they want to use the D10 against this one. But this round would not be a good round to try to go for because they need 11 with their roll. That's a tough roll. But that is what they're looking for. So what they're going to do is just going to... They did their peak and... I think they're going to try to go for this last one. Alright. So then we get to... Okay, I skipped red, so it was purple. Now it's green. Green's going after the follower. They got their best die out there. Yeah, green is going to go... They know they can't compete with red for a lot of stuff. They're going to go after the crystals here. Now it's red's turn. Red is going to just straight up take some gold because those are victory points. And then purple's last turn. They were going to go after that last one and just take a blind shot. They can't anymore. So to upgrade this would require a green, which they don't have. But there was a golden opportunity here. Look at this. This is unguarded. So they're going to go after unguarded yellow. And then red gets one final action because they have 4. And they're going to put a second die on there. Alright, so let's do this. They need a 10. They rolled a freaking 5. They don't have any potions. They do have a blue, so they're going to spend a blue to re-roll. And I think they're going to re-roll the 1. Although they need 6, don't they? Holy cow, this is not turning out well for them, is it? Yeah, so they rolled a 7. It's not enough, so that's out. They don't win there, and they don't win here either. Boy, red is... That really backfired on red a couple times now. Okay, and then green rolled a 6, which was actually enough. But it got doubled because green actually has the nature. So that actually turned into a 12 for them. Alright, so they get 2 gold for that. And then green also gets all this. So in case you haven't figured it out by now, there's a lot of luck in this game. And there's a lot of people who could be crying, and you could say, well, you could mitigate through having crystals. Yes, you can. And you don't have to be as risk-taking as I am. It is possible. I just don't know if you'll win if you're too conservative when you play this game. But I would say it's still probably anybody's game. Maybe red and green are the two duking it out the most. Red just upgraded to the best die. I'm sorry, no. They just upgraded to a D12. Which easily upgrades to a D20 for free. And that cost them a yellow crystal. And then purple is gaining a yellow crystal by spending a red. And they're gaining another yellow crystal here. So what are they going to do with all these yellow crystals? I don't know. But it's good. Okay, I need to end this video. First of all, it's very late at night and I'm getting very tired. Secondly, we are now at level 3 of the dungeon. It's more mix, rinse, and repeat. So I forgot. Yellow just grabbed this. That's 8 points for them. And then another card's going to come out. And that's 1 point for every monster you killed. Doesn't matter what type. So just kill a lot of monsters. Now there is a viable strategy of, instead of, like, you just keep going for gold and nothing else. And if you get white crystals, you're always going to win, even with a D4 guy. So you don't have to upgrade your guys. It's just you have to have a very distinct path. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I could continue this video at some other time. I'll leave this set up. Maybe when I'm a little more awake. I am falling asleep at the wheel here. There's not much left to this game. I think I could probably wrap it up in a half hour with me rambling like I do. It might take a little bit longer. Dungeon Allies. This was a very frustrating game for my group to play. When they first started playing it, they were in love with it. But then they started to realize that one player kept hogging this up, and he was willing to spend all the gold he had to prevent you from getting one of these. And it worked. He won the game. However, he only won the game by 3 points, and there was 3 of us. So, like, the second place player was literally 1 point behind him, and the third place player was, I think, like I said, 3 points behind him. So it was a super close game. All 3 of us were in it all the way to the end. The reason the rest of us were in the game is these artifacts. We scored points on these artifacts, and that allowed us to catch him. But he constantly had all of his dice unlocked, so he was getting 6 actions while one of us was only getting 3. I think I made it to 4. I had 4 people like Green does here, and I ended up finishing the game with just 4 dice. One player only had 3 dice. Now, he did finish in 3rd place, so whoever had the most dice won. Whoever had the second most dice got second. Whoever had the third most finished last. However, the artifacts really did keep us in the game, and had a few things gone our way, we could have won. This memory thing of, okay, I'm going to pick this one and this one, total crapshoot, right? So 2 times now, the purple player's gotten robbed because other people found the flame, the fire. It could have just as easily been purple that found the fire, and now they're sitting at 12 points from that one card. And instead, that card's only worth 4 points with 2 of them out of the game. So, or they're not out of the game, but somebody else took them. That's how this game is. It's a little swingy that way. There's a lot of luck. Some of you aren't going to like that. Does it feel like a dungeon romper? Yeah, sure. A very light one. Does it have, I mean, the coolest thing about this game is you're playing with a set of D&D dice. I mean, the fact that the D&D dice are your workers and that's your placement, I mean, that's brilliant. And so I can't fault this game. It is what it is. And for some people, this is a great time. For other people, they're like, there's too much luck. And that's true, because even this is luck, like which of these comes out. But to me, there's just as many of these with the helmet on the board as there are those. What ends up happening, though, is you end up revealing certain ones, and those are the ones you win. And so you're going to be like, okay, now I'm looking for the bow and arrow, and he was able to find it. He started the game looking for fire, but now that he was looking for fire, the other 2 players knew that, and so they took the fires away from him. So it's a double-edged sword. The ones that come out at the beginning of the game are more than enough to let you win. But got to then get lucky enough to find them. Or you start winning a bunch of stuff, and then you got to be lucky enough to find the one that you won. So, like, for example, the red player is getting a whole bunch of amulet stuff. That just happens to line up with their best die. But if you'll notice, they don't have any amulet things. And in fact, it's in this deck somewhere. There's not that many cards left, but since they only refresh after somebody buys one, there's a real good chance that it may never come out. And so I could easily think of a few friends that this game would anger them, because there's no way to cycle through the cards. There's no way to, yeah, you can mitigate stuff here, but it's still, somebody else could ruin your day because they just got luckier than you. I can hear the whining already. Um, can't say much about it. The game is what it is. It's for, if you buy this game, you're taking on the fact that you like a little RNG in your game. I mean, there's a lot of people who play games that are push your luck, and yeah, you push your luck and you don't win. This video is an hour and a half long, and I'm teaching it as I go. They're explaining all these strategies. If you have a bunch of players that know how to play, you can crank through this 45 minutes. I really believe you can. Sometimes people slow down because they're trying to think of, okay, you know, do I really have a shot at getting this? Is somebody going to try to block me? I mean, yeah, it slows down a little there, but there you have it. It's Dungeon Allies. Um, like I said, if you want me to, I can definitely finish. I'm going to pull a Rado here. If you want the extended version, click here in the corner. I don't have a corner for you to click on. Just tell me in the comments, and I'll do another video in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.